Okay, so in this example, they gave us a polynomial. There are 4 terms, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And within those terms, we need to look at the degree of them to put in standard form. So standard form of a polynomial, remember that it's degree. I'm going to change that to be highest degree to lowest degree. So highest degree to lowest degree. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to identify the degree of each term. Well, when I'm looking at degree, I'm looking at the exponent. So this first term here has a degree of 4. This is where my constant is. I have no variables and I have no exponent, so the degree is 0. Then I have 5x squared y. So I'm going to take the exponent of my x and the exponent of my y, which is an implied 1, and add them together. And I have a degree of 3. And then finally I have 6x to the 5th power. This here is my exponent, so my degree is 5. Now that I've identified the degree of each one of my terms, I'm going to rewrite them from highest degree to lowest degree. This is a positive 6x, so I'm going to have 6x to the 5th power. Next I have my 4th degree term, which is a positive 4x to the 4th power. Then I have my degree of 3, so I'm going to do a positive 5x squared y. And then finally I'm going to include my constant, which is a negative 7. Now that I've put my polynomial in standard form, I need to identify my leading coefficient. My leading coefficient is the coefficient with my first term, which in this example is 6. Now let's go ahead and look at the next polynomial that they gave us, and we're going to do the same thing. So first we have our exponent of 2. That means the degree for this first term is 2. Then we have negative 7x. There is no exponent listed, so it's an implied 1. So it has a degree of 1. Next, I have 8x to the 3rd power, so the degree is 3. Next, I have 6x to the 5th power, so the degree is 5. And finally, I have my constant where the degree is 0 because I have no variable there. Now that I have each one of my degrees listed, I'm going to rewrite the polynomial in standard form with my degree of 5 first, because I'm going from highest degree to lowest degree. So it'll be 6x to the power of 5. Then I have, so this one's done. Then I have my degree of 3, and it's a positive, so I have plus 8x cubed. My next highest degree is 2, so I'm going to do plus x squared. Then I have my degree of 1 minus 7x. And finally, I have plus 5. Now that I've rewritten this polynomial in standard form with my highest degree first, I can note what my leading coefficient is, which in this scenario is still 6. And that's because the coefficient with my first variable with the highest degree is 6. So now we have some more practice here. Here we have an expression, 9x squared plus 3x to the 6th power minus 4x. We need to rewrite this in standard form. I'm looking at my variables. I have a 2, a 6, and a 1. So I'm going to list my highest degree first, which is 3x to the 6th power. Next I have my 2, which there is no sign, so it means it's positive, 9x squared. And then finally I have minus 4x. Now what is my leading coefficient in this polynomial in standard form? Well, that would be my 3, because that's the coefficient of my first term. And when I write it in standard form, it has to be my first term, so my leading coefficient is 3. Let's go ahead and practice with the next one. We have 12, so that has a degree of 0. 5y, which has a degree of 1, because there's no exponent here, so it's an implied 1. Then we have 6xy, so there's a 1 and a 1, so we're going to add those together, so the degree here is 2. And then finally we have 8xy squared. This is an implied 1. 1 plus 2 is equal to 3, so that is my highest degree term in this polynomial. So I'm going to rewrite this in standard form with my 8xy squared. Then I'm going to have a positive 6xy. I'm going to do plus 5y. And then finally plus 12. Now my leading coefficient, not my highest coefficient, but my leading coefficient, because my leading term is 8xy squared, my leading coefficient is 8. All right. Then we have negative 4y plus 2 plus y squared. My degree here is 1, my degree here is 0, and my degree here is 2. So in standard form, I have 5y squared minus 4y plus 2. So my leading coefficient for this example, now that I've written it in standard form, is 5. Two more to go. Hopefully we're getting the hang of this now. We have 6x, which is a degree of 1, 7x squared, which is a degree of 2, plus 8, which is a degree of 0. Rewrite that in standard form. I can't forget about this negative right here. So I'm going to have negative 7x squared plus 6x plus 8. My leading coefficient is negative 7. And in this last example, I have x to the power of 3, which means I have a degree of 3, x to the power of 5, which is a degree of 5, 3, which is a degree of 0, and finally x, which is a degree of 1. When I rewrite this in standard form, I have x to the power of 5 plus x to the power of 3 minus x, because I can't forget about this negative sign, and plus 3. Now when there is no coefficient listed, that means it's an implied 1. It is not 0, because if it was 0, then that means that we would not have x to the 5th at all. So our leading coefficient in this last example is 1. Now, in these last part of these practice problems, and I will zoom in a little bit closer, the last part of our practice problems is just reviewing combining like terms. So when we are combining like terms, we are looking for terms and exponents that are exactly the same. Pink is a little dark in the video, so I'm going to go ahead and switch to yellow. And I'm going to look at this first example, and I have 4x, and I have 6x, and then I have x squared. I cannot combine an x squared with variables that do not have the same exponent. So when I combine 4x and 6x, I get 10x, and I have my 8x squared, which is positive. That has a higher degree, so I'm going to have 8x squared plus 10x is how I'm going to rewrite that polynomial. In the next example, I have negative 4x, negative 6x, and then negative 8x squared again. I cannot combine these two terms with this term because of the variable. So I'm going to have negative 8x squared. Negative 4x minus 6x is going to be minus 10x. Because we have the same signs, we add the coefficients and keep the sign. We should remember that from our integer rules. Next we have 4x squared plus 6x minus 8x squared. So I have 4x squared and negative 8x squared that have the same variable and exponent. 4x squared minus 8x squared is going to give me a negative 4x squared. Then I have my positive 6x. Hopefully this is coming back to all of you and you remember how to combine like terms from pre-algebra last year. In this next example here, I have a negative 4x squared and a positive 8x squared. When I do negative 4 plus a positive 8, I end up with a positive 4x squared. And then I have a positive 6x cubed. So let me go ahead and rewrite that with that x cubed in front because that's the highest degree. So 6x cubed plus 4x squared is the correct way to write that polynomial. In this next example here, I have 4x, negative 6x squared, and a positive 8x squared. When I combine negative 6 and positive 8, I will get a positive 2x squared, and then I still have my positive 4x. If you are having questions about how I'm adding and subtracting with integers and positive and negative numbers, please reach out to me and I can help you and I can show you a few tricks. Next we have our negative 4x plus 6x squared minus 8x squared. I can combine these two terms. When I have a positive 6x squared and a negative 8x squared, I'm going to have a negative 2x squared. And then I still have my negative 4x, so I'm going to subtract 4x. We have 3 more to go that we will do for practice, and then we'll work on a few on your own. So we have negative 4x squared minus 6x minus 8x squared. I can combine these two terms. When I have a negative and I'm subtracting more, then that means I'm going to add the coefficients and keep the sign. So 4 plus 8 is 12. So I have 12x squared, and I can't forget I need to keep this sign, so it's a negative 12x squared. And then I have minus 6x. Two more to go. Now we have a 4x squared plus 6x squared minus 8x squared. So all of this polynomial has three of the same term. So 4x squared plus 6x squared is going to give me a positive 10x squared. And then I'm going to subtract this 8x squared. 10 minus 8 is 2x squared. Because I still have the same variable with the same exponent, I can combine the coefficients. And the last one I have is negative 4x minus 6x and plus 8x squared. I can combine these two, negative and a negative. I'm going to end up with a negative 10x plus 8x squared. I'm going to rewrite this in degree order. So I'm going to have 8x squared minus 10x. Okay, so that is combining like terms and rewriting in standard form of a polynomial. Go ahead and answer the practice problems that follow, and I'll see you tomorrow in class.